Hello guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel, and if this is your first time visiting this channel, click on the subscribe button and smash the notification bell so that whenever I post a new video, you will get notified as soon as possible. Yeah, so it's a new week again, and just as we normally do, we go through the pairs and see what the market has for us going into a new week. And last week was a very good week. Yeah, so far last week has been one of my good weeks. All right, yes, last week was very good. Looking at how the previous weeks have been, last week was very good to me. And let's see what the market has for us going into a new week. And we had FOMC and NFP last week, and the price action was very phenomenal. All right, I didn't trade during the FOMC and then the NFP, so I sat down and observed price action. I was like, whoa, this is interesting. All right, price really gave us some interesting moves on the FOMC and the NFP. So let's go through the market and see what it is up for us going into a new week, starting with the dollar index. So with the dollar index, last week I wanted to see price fill this fair value gap, which it did. All right, I want to see price fill this fair value gap, which it did on Monday. So Monday's price action coming up to completely fill this fair value gap, but my target was this zone. All right, my target was after price filling this, I wanted to see price moving to the zone before we see a move to the upside. But looking at how Wednesday's price action reacted, I was like, no, looking at how things are going, I'm not seeing price moving to the zone anytime soon, of which I even updated my community members in my Telegram channel. So if you're not part of my Telegram channel, look through the description box below. The link is there. Click on it and be part of the Flax Trading Telegram community. All right, yeah, so I updated my Telegram community members that if Wednesday's price action should end this way, all right, just as we are seeing here, then definitely on this was Tuesday, yeah, so if Tuesday's price action should end this way, then definitely on Wednesday we are going to see price shift to the upside, and definitely we saw it happening on Wednesday, Thursday, and then Friday we saw the the NFP moving price into the zone. And so going into this week, I can't really tell how price is going to move. All right, it's hard for me currently to determine the bias. We're looking at where price is currently. Price is stuck within this range. All right, price is stuck within this range high and then this range low. All right, yeah, so it makes it a little bit difficult for me to tell going into next week how price is going to react. But let's look the weekly time frame. So the weekly time frame, look at how price reacted within this zone. Price got within this zone and we saw a rejection to the upside. The following week, that was last week, this is how price reacted last week. It didn't really give us a very clear bias on the weekly time frame. And so going into this week, I would want to see how price will react if it gets within this area. All right, yes, if it fails to approach this zone, then definitely you're going to see price continuing to the upside. But if it gets here, I'm going to see how price will react as to whether it will respect this bearish candle we are seeing here or it breaks it. Once it breaks it, and definitely you're going to see price continue to push the downside. But as soon as it respects it, then you're going to see price continuing to the upside. But as it stands now on the daily, it is not really clear. All right, it is not really clear on the daily, even though we've seen price taking out this sell side liquidity. Price couldn't break structure right after taking out this sell side liquidity. On the daily, we didn't see price breaking structure. It got here and then we saw a rejection to the downside. So let's look at what the market has for us. Let's observe and see how price is going to react. So just as I said on the weekly, this zone is, I'm going to see how price will react. In case it gets here and breaks, then you're going to see price moving to the downside. But if it respects it, then you're going to see price continuing to the upside. And don't forget, I mean, November, basically November is the last active trading month of the year. Here, December, we don't really see a clearer price action in December because the year is ending. All right, yes, price, I mean, we see normal movement in December, that is the first 2 weeks of December, but right after that we see the markets consolidating just because the year has ended. All right, so don't forget, we are in the last active month of the year, which is November, and so I wouldn't be surprised at all. I would never be surprised if we see price consolidating within this zone, all right, up until the beginning of what next year, all right, before we see a clear direction. I wouldn't be surprised at all, because experience has really given me that. All right, last year, prior to getting to a new year, we saw price consolidate on a daily before we saw a move to, I think, to the downside or the upside within the following year. And so I wouldn't be surprised if we should see that consolidation happening again. All right, but let's see what happens going into this week. All right, here, so that is just that on the dollar index. Let's switch to EU and see what is happening on EU. So for EU, to just as I outlined on the dollar index, we are not really seeing a clearer picture here. All right, but what I can say for EU is that we've had an impulse move to the upside. All right, that was Friday. We've had an impulse move, and so after an impulse move, we want to see what correction. All right, yeah, so I wouldn't be surprised if we should see price continuing what moving within this zone before we see what a move to the upside, because I mean, I'm seeing a fair value gap here. All right, I'm seeing a fair value gap here. Yeah, there's a fair value gap. All right, because I mean, there has been a shifting structure here. All right, and right prior to the fair value gap, we also have an order block here as well. All right, yeah, so it makes this zone a very, very strong area for price to react to in case it gets there. So going into next week, I want to see price make this correction. All right, I want to see price make this correction before we can see a move to the upside or either the downside. All right, yes, because at the moment price is stuck within a range. All right, this range high, this range low, and then this range high. Let me outline it for you to see. This range high, this range high, and then this range low. All right, I wouldn't be surprised if we should see price consolidating within this range. Yeah, so I would advise that have short-term targets. All right, have short-term targets as we are ending the year. Be more interested in taking short-term trades. All right, just short-term. Be targeting previous highs, previous lows, previous highs, previous lows on the lower time frame, rather than planning to take up a longer term target. All right, yeah, so just that, because we are ending the year. We are almost done with 2022, and getting to this very period, we are likely to see consolidations a lot. All right, because I mean, the market makers are closing their books so far as 2022 is concerned, and so they wouldn't have any long-term view. All right, unless we enter into a new year, and so we are going to see consolidations happening a lot in the market, and so you should have short-term targets. All right, you should have short-term targets on the lower time frame. You should be targeting some few pips and all that, previous highs, previous lows, previous highs, previous lows, and then you are good to go. All right, here basically for me, I'm going to end my trading year this very month. All right, once this month ends, that is going to be the end of my trading year, and so that is what I'm just planning to do. Yeah, so you should be doing that as well. Yeah, so that is just that for Euro USD. That is just that for Euro USD. Let's look at what is happening on GBP USD. Let's look at what is happening on GBP USD. Yeah, so for GBP USD, let me check something on EU. Yeah, so for GBP USD too, we didn't really see much movement on Friday, just as we saw on EU. Right? Yes, we've seen the price taking out this high, all right, and breaking back into this zone. And so going into this week, I would want to see how price will react. All right, I would want to see how price will react right after this impulse move. So you are likely to see price building up for the correction before we see a move to the upside, because at the moment price is what is giving us bullish sentiment. All right, on a bigger frame, that is what we are seeing. All right, we've seen price taking out the structure, and so I want to see price move up to clear the structure. Yeah, so that is my expectation on GBP USD. So going into next week, I want to see price move down. All right, most especially see how it's going to react within this zone before we see a move to either the upside or the downside. All right, that is if all things being equal. I want to see this high being cleared. All right, yes, I'm bullish on GBP USD, but I want to see how Monday's price action is going to react. All right, Monday's price action will tell me if we are going to continue being bullish or our bias is going to change. So click on the link and then be part of my Flax trading Telegram community. That is when I'm going to update you as to how price has reacted and the way forward. Yeah, so that is just that for GBP USD. See, because we are ending the year, price action is not so clear at the moment, and I mean that's normal. That is why I said you should be targeting short term on the lower time frame. Your target should be short term. All right, yes. So let's look at what is happening on Nasdaq here. So Nasdaq did me good. Yeah, Nasdaq really did me good last week. Yeah, so that is just that. That is just that. But going into next week, all right, look at what has happened here. We've seen price taking out this relative equal lows. All right, I think I spoke about it last week. Yeah, we've seen price taking out this relative equal lows, all right, which has caused a shift in structure. And right after the shift in structure, we are seeing an imbalance here. All right, a very huge imbalance here. All right, a very huge imbalance here. And whenever an imbalance is very huge, all right, whenever an imbalance is very huge, what you should do is you should measure what you should take out the high and low to get the 50%. All right, yes, so midpoint. All right, this is the midpoint of the imbalance. So going into next week, I want to see price shift to this midpoint before we see a continuation to the downside. All right, yeah, so that is what I want to see on Nasdaq going into next week. That is what I want to see on Nasdaq going into next week. Yeah, so I want to see price move up, all right, to fill at least 50% of this imbalance or of this displacement before we see a continuation to the downside. Yeah, so that is my expectation on Nasdaq going into a new week. Let's look at what is happening on S&P 500. Yeah, so for S&P 500, same plan. All right, for S&P 500, same plan. This is the displacement that has happened on the S&P 500, and so I'll just have to identify the midpoint of the displacement. All right, I'll identify the midpoint of and looking at this, price nearly tapped into the midpoint of the displacement, but still I'm still going to look out for price getting into the midpoint of the displacement. Then we see a shift to the downside, because price is what is bearish for me, all right, just because of the shift in structure we are seeing here. So going into next week, I'll be looking for bearish prices on S&P 500 and then Nasdaq. All right, I'll be looking for bearish prices on S&P 500 and then Nasdaq. Yeah, so that is my expectation on the market going into a new week. If you are new to this channel, please click on the subscribe button and smash the notification bell. And if you haven't subscribed, or if you haven't joined my Forex trading Telegram community too, just click on the link in the description box below and then be part of my Forex Telegram community. Until I come your way again another time, I wish you good luck and good trade.